Who needs caffeine when you have a hair day like this? Let's get it. Ah! Let's go! Woo! YouTube, what is up? We are back with another video today. Today's gonna be a quicker video. We got deadlifts, we got jumps, we got more jumps, and then maybe we get to a secondary accessory. Let me check the time. It is 4:50. I gotta leave here at 5:30 for softball. Of course, got picked up for a league. Pretty pumped about that. It is a great hair day today. Holy shit. We might hit a PR today. We are ripping a no caffeine pre-workout. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just found it in the grocery store today. I wanted to try something out. So this might be the start of my health journey. It's not. It's not. It's really not. I'm going to be ripping 200 milligrams of caffeine as soon as this workout's done for softball. So it's not. But hopefully that pre-workout gets me a little pump going today. That's a beta A in it. I like those tingles, like that feeling. So I'll be able to rip from there. Today we're going to talk about, we are going to finish tomorrow, or we're going to start tomorrow what was supposed to be yesterday's rant about building a superhuman body. And I got a Q&A asking about why all athletes are nerdy or obsessive, and we'll kind of cover my thoughts on that. So let's get after it. Let's go. We're gonna start off with some hurdle hops here. Stay nice and vertical, attacking the ground here, keeping those plyometrics in. I don't need any big definition here. We got my boy, Michael D'Angelo. If you are a SoundCloud geek, you like those EDM mixes, you like a good workout bop, look him up on SoundCloud. He's one of my previous athletes. He just dropped a mix. He is one of my biggest idiots of an athlete, so of course he's a DJ, and I would roast him if it sucked, but this is actually a bop. So if you need a workout mix, Michael D'Angelo on Spotify or on SoundCloud, we'll look it up. Let's get it. Ooh. Not as bouncy on that one. Stay bouncy. Woo, let's go. I think one of the biggest improvements in the strength conditioning field, one of the biggest measures of did we move our field forward, is that you don't see any more of the box jumps are bad for you because it doesn't measure your vertical arguments anymore. It's a hip displacement. It's all about look at the position you jump in. Holy fuck, dude. We used to be in those arguments. Like, I used to see those arguments all the time on Twitter. It's so retarded. Thank God we're not there. Just jump over something, be an athlete. There's probably still that argument. I'm probably just hopefully out of that circle of people that are arguing that. But the fact that I was once in that circle of people that were arguing that thing makes me want to off myself. So stupid. Let's get it. Seated butt jumps here. Let's get it. Ooh! Oh, we got that. Ooh! Oh, you motherfucker. Ooh! Let's go. Get the deadlifts. We're gonna hit some hack deadlifts, behind the back deadlifts here. Every time I do these, they start off amazing. I feel super pumped about them, and then I get to a point in which I can't do it, and I fucking send myself, and I run it in my ass for, pause. It gets stuck on my butt on the way up for like 14 reps in a row, and I rage, but I still love this variation. I love this lift. We did it with our athletes this morning. If you have long arms, man, it is such a cheat code for this. You can just stand up all the way through. We have an athlete that can't even pull like 4 plates, and he was pulling 5 plates on this one, and we have an athlete that he's an NFL offensive lineman that can deadlift like, I think close to 550, and he couldn't do 4 plates on this. I think he was struggling with 3 plates just because of the mobility and the length of the arm issue based off your body. So this lift is awesome. This is a lift that I want to talk about. I'm gonna take out the headphones. I feel like I'm talking loud right now. We have kids in here, so had the headphones in to like lock into the zone. But the original thing that I wanted to talk about yesterday was leveling up your human body to be able to do things and treating yourself like a human avatar. And it originally started with back bends on Monday, where we had a couple athletes that they're brand new to our system. They just joined us. They're rugby players from St. Thomas. They have shoulder issues. They've been with us for like 2 days, and we're doing back bends. And I noticed they weren't doing the back bends. I'm like, why aren't you guys doing them? I was like, well, we just can't do them. Our shoulders are messed up. They're hard workers. It wasn't like a lazy thing. It was just like, oh, I can't do that. My shoulder's messed up. I've told myself the story of my shoulder messed up. I'm not going to even try or attempt that. I'll just go to the next one. And that is something that I think is a very dangerous thought process when it comes to training and it comes to injuries and it comes to performance, is writing yourself off, not treating yourself like the level upable avatar, not treating yourself like the video game, not treating yourself like a character that can level up. And what I showed him, I just gave him like 17 different variations of back bend. I'm like, if you can't do this variation, like I got a bunch of different variations. We were doing like exercise ball, starting on the exercise ball, so there's very little pressure in your shoulder, and they were starting to do it. And once they started to do it and roll, by the end, all 3 of them were doing back bends at the end of it, right? And that's a very quick leveling up of your avatar, right? And just the confidence piece of being able to do something that you weren't able to do before. But it's just the thought process that I can't do something, I'm unable, I don't have that skill set. And I really, really, really do believe that's a terrible thought process to have on this earth. The amount of things that I haven't been able to do, and I've told myself stories for a long time about not being able to do these things because I'm just not able, I'm not blessed, I don't have the genetics, whatever it is. And then I actually just start training to go do those things, and I find out that I can go do them, would blow your mind. Flips, dunks, handsprings, the softball journey, all of these are all side quests to level up my avatar. And I personally love doing it to show my athletes, like if I can go do this, if I can go level up my body to be able to do these things, from somebody that was unable to touch rim to being able to dunk, from somebody that couldn't do a cartwheel to being able to do backflips, right? Somebody that is not naturally athletic, and I understand that I am given a lot of traits. I'm given the ability to lift a lot of weight. I'm given the ability to grow muscle. I know I am also blessed compared to a lot of people. But compared to a lot of my athletes, I am trash. I am a Walmart piece of what they're able to do or should be able to do. And it's just a thought process. It's just the thought process of, I believe I can go level up my avatar. I believe this is a video game, and if you just spend enough experience points, you can grow these skill sets, and that's in business, that's in training, that's in these physical qualities. And they don't, right? I believe once you switch an athlete's mind over and you switch your own mind over, you really are capable of doing anything. That doesn't mean you go do everything. If you're not interested in a thing, don't go do it. If it doesn't benefit you, don't go do it. But not doing it because you're not interested in it is a very different story than not doing it because you think you're incapable of doing the things. And switching those stories up to being, I'm not doing that thing, I'm not jumping high right now because I'm not interested in jumping high right now, versus I'm not jumping high right now because I can't jump high. Those are two very different stories. And I really do believe once you start to view yourself as this avatar that is able to level up, you are able to do everything that you want to go do. It's just figuring out the way to go do it. It's figuring out how to gain those experience points. It's figuring out the skill trees you need to unlock to get there, and it can take a lot of time, and it will take a lot of work, but that doesn't mean you're unable, right? So I'm not saying you have to go do all these things. I'm not saying you have to do every skill set in the book. I'm just saying know that you are capable of all these skill sets, then go fully pursue the ones that you are interested in, and don't limit yourself, especially if it's an injury, especially if it's just you're unable currently, and stop telling yourself that story. Stop lying to yourself, right? So we got 4 rep maxes here. Let's rip it. Let's go. Ow, I dropped that on my calf. Fucker. I actually really did drop that on the back of my calf there, and that did not feel super great. Not gonna lie. So we're gonna try and avoid doing that again, but that fucking hurt right on the back. Just let it go. Hit it. Dummy. That's gonna bruise up. It's gonna ruin my sick calf pump I got going here. All right, let's rip it. Here we go. All right, one more set of 4s, and then we'll get to singles from there. Mobility's feeling a little bit better on these from the last time I did them, but I don't know if that's just because it's 315 and last time I tried to rip some heavier weight, but we're gonna find out real quick. Let's go. All right, let's rip it. Last set of 4 here, then we got singles. Here we go. Yeah, that's gonna get heavy quick. Let's go. All right, let's rip some singies. Let's go. Woo! Who needs caffeine when you have a hair day like this? Let's get it. Ah, come on. Grab that up. All right, we talked shit to the weight, and we got hit. We got to strap up because my grip's a little bitch grip. So let's get this. Here we go. Ah, let's go. Woo! That's a grind. Gonna see some stars on that one. Could not get it around my ass. With the straps though, it felt pretty light. I kind of want to go heavier. We'll try it. Let's see what happens. All right, so we did not get to another set there. That's what they like to call in the social media game fake news right there. We have to be at the fields at 6:15 and my ETA is 6:13. If I had hit another set, I would have been 5 minutes late. And I don't know where that delusional self-confidence came from. I rewatched that. That looked like an RPE 12 on that set. I was stuck on my butt, but it didn't feel that heavy picking it up. And that's just delusional self-confidence right there. That's why you have video to tell you what the RPE actually was. So we cut it off at a good time. That was a good little pump after that 315 clean. I didn't want to crush the spine today, so picked that slight little variation to be a little bit better. Get some stim in, get a pulling stim in, even though it's a little bit more squatty in that hack squat, hack deadlift type setup there. But still, just picking something off the ground, which is what I need to work on. In my pulls, I think for the cleans, that's why it's not as good, is because the snatches, it's not a pulling issue, it's a technique issue, whereas I think it's starting to get to a pulling issue with the cleans where I'm just not strong enough to pick it up off the ground because I'm a weak motherfucker when it comes to pulling stuff off the ground, and I'm kind of just dive bombing underneath it. The technique there, I really need to find my it's like an old, it's not even an iPhone, I don't know why, it's like an old Samsung. It was like this little flip up phone, but I recorded one of my cleans on there back in the day, and I think I have like a 330 or 340 clean on video, but I wish I could get the technique, because the technique is so much better now. It's less weight now, I get that, but it's just so funny watching the technique differences and how much less I've put in the technique, and I think that's just a testament to just being a better athlete. You figure things out a lot quicker. Obviously, I'm older now too, but it's kind of a cool thought process or experiment of, this is like, I've holistically leveled myself up as an athlete. I understand my body, I understand how to move the body a little bit better, and how it's finding solutions to movement problems so much better than it did in the past, which is just like one singular solution. It's still not pretty, it's still not perfect, but it's so much better than before. One thing I wanted to rant about in the car before we got to softball here, I got the question, why are all athletes nerdy and obsessive? And it's actually something that I think about a lot, and something that I feel like is not talked about enough, because we think about physical qualities a little bit too much when it comes to athletics. I know so many physical freaks that are not physical freaks on Sundays, that are not professional physical freaks, and even physical freaks that have made it to Sunday that don't stay on Sundays. In the NFL is what I'm talking about, or even Division I if you want to talk about Saturdays. But I know freaks that have made it to Sundays and they just don't last. And I think a large part of that is the mind and the obsession that it takes to be great and master a craft. And I really don't believe it's this weird like mental toughness thing. I really do believe it comes down to having something in your brain that drives you to perfection, towards a singular craft, towards a singular thing. It is something wrong, in quotations, with your brain. And it's something that I like to talk about a lot. It's like the 1%ers are a 1%er for a reason. So all of the other 99% of the world is going to look at them as weird, as different, and they should. I like to bring that point up because you see it in artists a lot. People talk about if Kanye could just stay out of his own way, if these athletes could just stay out of their own way. It's like, you don't get it. The thing that is keeping them in their own way is the thing that also makes them Kanye. It's also what makes them an amazing athlete. You don't really get one without the other. The thing that makes them weird, the thing that makes them not fit into society, the thing that makes them not normal, in quotations, is exactly the thing that makes them not normal. Obviously, this can be taken too far. Kanye can say some dumb shit. Kanye can get himself in a lot of trouble. These athletes can say and do a lot of horrible, horrible things, and that is not to justify any of that. That is not to write any of that off. It's just to look at the hypocrisy that it comes with these people that reward them for their weirdness, reward them for their 1% when it comes to something that benefits their life, and then writing off that same weirdness whenever it flares up as weirdness, whenever it flares up as something that they don't enjoy, they don't necessarily agree with, and now they write it off, they cancel that person. It's honestly one of the things I have a little bit against Steven Pressfield. He talks about the war of art in his book, and I love this book. I recommend this book to almost every person that I do a consulting call with. I think it's a very powerful book. But the issue I have with it is he talks about, you don't all have to be Picassos, you don't all have to be these broke artists, you can do it in a business-like way. I really push back on that because you're not Picasso. You're not Kanye. You're not one of the 1%ers. He's a 1%er in his own regard, but you're not that 1%er in their own way. You can't say, oh, if only they had a business around them, they would do better. If they had a business mindset, they wouldn't have that artistic ability. They wouldn't have the ability to create and pull from the void that they have and we don't have, right? So I think a lot of this middle ground talk of making artists more business-like, making yourself more marketable, making yourself more profitable, making yourself, it's just all this lie to get you into this middle ground. And if you are a middle ground person here, if you read the book Range, a lot of middle ground people become high level one percenters because they connect one percenters with other one percenters. They're able to pull from the Kanyes and the Picassos, and they find something profitable in the middle. So if that is you, that's totally okay. That's an amazing skill set, especially to have in our society, connecting those people, connecting the dots, making the middle ground. Maybe you're not a creator, maybe you're not an inventor, but you're a connector, you're a marketer, you're somebody that ties all these ideas together, and maybe you do invent something while tying these ideas together. But I think we find ourselves in a lot of trouble when we try to make a creator a business person, and vice versa. When we lie to the business person, when we lie to the middle ground person that is not a creative, to just go be creative, just go be one of those one percenters. I think that's bullshit. I think you should focus on the things that you are really good at, the things that you're really good at, typically you have a high level of interest in. A lot of these one percenters in the connecting world, in the middle ground world, again, they're not inventing all of these things, but they're connecting points, they're coming up with something, oh, dude, what are you doing? I just got cut off by this person. Making products out of these ideas. And again, that's something that I definitely need in my life. I need somebody that can make products out of my ideas, that can piece together my ideas. That's why I love posting all of my ideas on social media and Instagram, so that people can piece them together into a more set up and well-developed way for their athletes. And I think there are a lot smarter people than me in that regard. What I have a skill set in it is pulling from the void and in inventing. And I wouldn't consider myself a one percenter in the Kanye level world, maybe in the strength conditioning world, but that's a low level. That's a low bar to cross right there. The creativity in the strength conditioning field isn't great. But I just think there's a lie we tell ourselves to, if only Kanye was this, and if only I was more Kanye. And I just think it's just like, let the Kanye's Kanye, let the middle ground people profit off Kanye and make songs off of Kanye, so we can enjoy the void that he pulls from, but let him stay in that void. In the same way that athletes are obsessive, and they're obsessive and nerdy for a reason, they're a one percenter for a reason, let them stay in that void. And if you want to systemize that stuff after, if you want to come up with these products after, if you want to come up with the training systems and the gym after, then you can go do that as a non-one percenter. But the one percenters operate in that world. And the more you try to get them to operate in the world, the less it's going to make sense to you. And the more you try to operate in the 1% world, if you are a connector, the less that's going to make sense for you. So if you're a connector, you're the Steven Pressfield, and you just need to focus on the business side of things, that's amazing. Don't fight yourself for that. Don't shame yourself for not being a Kanye. You don't want to be a fucking Kanye. You don't want to have the mind Kanye has. If you are a Kanye and you have that crazy mind, find somebody in your life that can be that connector, that can be that business person for you to make a product off of it. But stop trying to fight yourself one way or the other. Figure out who you are. Figure out what you specialize in, figure out your abilities, and stop trying to go one way or the other. Stop trying to make other people go one way or the other. You don't get Kanye's music without Kanye's rants. And maybe we can enjoy Kanye's music without thinking about his rants, right? And disconnecting the two there. So just kind of the thought process is there. The reason athletes are nerdy and obsessive and weird to you is the very reason they are the special athletes that we love watching. They are one percenters. They are different than you and I. And we are different than them. And that is okay. And we can be one percenters in our own way. So appreciate you guys watching this. Keep chopping the wood. Let's go.